Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be back on this channel after so long. I have had so many crazy experiences over the last few months. There's so much to reflect on and there's so much that is happening now in the pipeline as well that I just needed more time to talk to you and to share everything with you and to reflect on everything that has happened. So I thought it's the perfect time for a YouTube video. Today's topic is I moved to Mumbai after quitting my 9 to 5 job, which I'm sure you must know if you followed my journey on Instagram. And for the lack of better words, I failed. It didn't work out. So as you can see, I'm back in Melbourne. I've set up a new place. I've been piecing my life back together bit by bit. I've moved in with my boyfriend as well. So he's moved interstate. We're both in Melbourne and we're both just creating the life that we've always dreamt of. So extremely grateful, and I've spent a lot of the last few days just taking in everything that is happening for us. It has truly been a dream for so many years to have this kind of space and to be together and to be living in the same city chasing our dreams. So that has finally happened. The topic of today's YouTube video is I moved to Mumbai and it failed, and I thought of creating a video because I've reflected and I know now all the areas where I went wrong. And I thought I would love to share this with you so that if someone is on a similar path or if someone is considering switching careers into something full-time creative or going to a new city and trying this out, which I know plays on the mind of a lot of people these days, then at least you get to learn from my mistakes. Please don't do the same things that I did. I've reflected and I know the things that I've done wrong and the places where I could have probably changed certain things for me, but I had to put a hard stop. At the 3-month deadline, I was like, this is not working, I need to get out. And so I did, and I removed myself from that situation because I felt it had gotten to a point where by being in that situation, I was not able to learn or reflect or understand exactly what it is that's not working for me. Why am I not able to feel like myself? Why am I not able to push myself? What was it that was missing? And so I knew I had to remove myself from that situation and come back to Melbourne and be in a place of peace and stability to be able to think and reflect. So please learn from the mistakes that I have made, and I've actually written them down. Without being too harsh on myself, I think I'm going to go through 3 to 4 mistakes that I made that you could probably take away from me. It applies to anyone who is trying out a new career transition and then also moving to the city. And I was doing these 2 things at the same time. I was shifting from a corporate structure to a creative world full time, and I was also moving to a completely new city where I grew up. I was there for a good 8-9 years growing up from my 1st grade to the 10th grade. But obviously, Mumbai is so different when you go back as an adult trying to fend for yourself, as an adult trying to make money and a professional career. Mumbai is a whole different ball game. Whereas when you go for holidays or when I was in school, when I was a child in the security of my home with my parents and family, that's very different. There are a lot of worldly affairs that you just do not need to be privy to. But as an adult in Mumbai, not easy. So let's just get into it. The number 1 mistake that I made, and I know I don't want to call these mistakes, but for the lack of better words, it is a mistake that I made. The number 1 mistake that I made in moving to Mumbai from Melbourne was the location and the environment. It's not so much that I was far away from town or from the city or from where all the good things were happening. The environment I chose to be in was like my hometown, where I grew up, where a lot of the uncle and aunties know me and my family, so they want to call me over, and I'm surrounded in that comfort zone. Yes, it was too far from everything that was happening, all the workshops that I wanted to attend, all the people I wanted to network with, where the buzz was in Mumbai. I was definitely too far away from that. But I was also in a place where I was living itself. It's my comfort zone in some ways. It was my hometown. It was the exact place, the exact society where I grew up. So my brain was in a comfort zone. I was still feeling comforted by the people around me. Also, just to break that down further, these are people that are well settled people. They are not hustling. They are not in the same boat as me. They are not chasing dreams. I'm talking about well settled families who don't share the same kind of hustle that I wanted to be a part of. So for me, I didn't have an environment or a crowd where I could feel inspired or I felt challenged. I felt very comfortable. I felt very at home, which has its own perks. And again, I want to put a massive disclaimer on top of all of this is that I recognize that the ability to go and pursue something like this is a true privilege. I am very grateful for the fact that I had the backing from my family to go and pursue something like this, to leave my job and to go back to Mumbai and to just live there and try something new. I recognize that it comes from a whole lot of privilege and luxury in a way. So I'm very grateful for that. And I don't want this to sound like some kind of I'm cribbing about why it didn't work for me. This is not a cribbing rant. This is purely reflective, my personal reflections that I want to share. So yeah, being part of that environment, very grateful for it. Felt like a warm, fuzzy hug. But if I've put my career at stake, I'm in a new city and I've transitioned careers from corporate to creative, I needed to hustle. And I should have placed myself in an environment where I am on the regular, meeting people who are talking about ideas, who want to create something new, who want to challenge things and norms and be inspirational in some way, shape or form. I should have made sure that I'm a part of that environment. Number one mistake was that. Number two was my networking fell short. And I am someone who prides myself on my communication skills and LinkedIn, and I know how to network. And I fell flat when I went to Mumbai. I was like, what would I say to them? I live so far away. Like, would anyone really want to meet me? Yeah, I'm a good creator, but all of these people have so much more following than me. These are like 200, 500k following and million following. Why would they want to meet me? Why would anyone want to do a collab with me? I was really underestimating myself because in Mumbai, suddenly you're in a pool of, it's a game-changing pool. Like you're in a pool of just the best of the best of the best are there. And those who are not there are getting there. So I should have had more faith in my ability to get there. And I probably somewhere was not okay with admitting that I was not the best of the best. I was not creme brulee. I was just not the cream. I was not. I was quite far from it. So I had to accept that and then suck it up and still message people and still put myself out there, which I must admit I didn't do. There probably is an angle of ego and pride because after so long you kind of feel like, I'm the best at something and I'm good at something, so everyone's gonna want to work with me. And I went to Mumbai thinking I'm just gonna be the shit. I'm gonna be it. And then I went there and I was like, everyone is it. Everyone is killing it, and how? So then reaching out to people, I felt like I went into the shell. I was like, I'm nothing. Like it's why would someone want to work with me? What am I going to achieve out of messaging 100 people? What if no one responds to me? It's such a waste of time. My networking fell short. I was not talking to enough people. And that also resulted in me not having a social life. I was not making new friends. I was not meeting new people. And by way of that, I wasn't getting out of the house because I knew absolutely no one in Mumbai. No one that I could be like, hey, let's meet for coffee. Can you just tell me how it works here? Absolutely no one to do that with. So then I was in my own shell and I fell short on the networking. I should have had more faith and reached out to people and not been so focused on the outcome. I was worried, what if people don't respond to me? So what? If people didn't respond to me, I've not lost anything. Nothing I've lost, in fact. So I should have just messaged and emailed and called. Another thing I didn't do as much. And number three is that I had absolutely no plan. And that was the point. The point was to have no plan, but no plan should have been with some sort of plan. Like when I say this, let me just backtrack. Having no plan doesn't mean कि भाई दिन में कुछ भी नहीं है करने को. That's not no plan. No plan is kind of like still doing certain things but just going with the flow. Depends. We'll see where it goes. Not being so focused on the outcome. I have been so conditioned growing up to be focused on the outcome, to be focused on results. Even on my LinkedIn, when I talk to people, I'm like, I'm a results oriented person. I'm oriented to what we achieve by doing so and so and so. So having no plan actually means that you're just going with the flow. There's no structure to what you're doing, but you're doing things. My no plan resulted in no structure to my day. So every day I was waking up thinking, what do I do now? Where do I go now? I don't know anybody here. Everybody is better than me. Everyone is so far away from me. Everyone around me seems to be fine and well settled. Am I the only weirdo here? So it added up. Having this no plan so-called thing, I should have reflected on this sooner and realized that having no plan doesn't mean to just be free flowing and waking up and having coffee at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not called having no plan. Having no plan just means that you're going with the flow, but it is backed by solid action. That is my mistake number 3, is that I just had no plan, no structure, nowhere to be, no one to see. That is an obstacle that I should have overcome sooner. And the last one is more content specific. This is probably only relatable for content creators, but I just wasn't willing to experiment with my content. I knew the content wasn't doing well, but I wasn't willing to experiment. I was so adamant, or I have maybe over faith in the content that I had been doing till then, that I was just expecting ki nahi, this has to work. The daily vlog has to work. The morning routine has to work. But I wasn't willing to admit that this is not working. So I need to pivot and I need to experiment new things on my page or in life in general. That experimental nature of mine somewhere had died down in so many months of doing, or years from doing university and corporate. That experimental, adventurous part of me that's willing to try new things. As a kid, you know how you're very willing to try and fail? That part of me had somewhere died. I'm like, no, this works and this is going to work and this is all I know how to do, so this is all I will do. Not willing to experiment is definitely a takeaway that is going to help me for life. I have to be willing to experiment with my content, with people, with everything, with experiences in general. I need to bring back that part of my inner child, which was like, fine, if it doesn't work out, okay, but I have to try new things. Otherwise, I'm going to be static. And I actually left my corporate job because I felt far too static, because I felt I wasn't growing and I wasn't learning. So if I don't try new things, I am never going to learn. That is actually a finishing note on the mistakes. Yeah. I'm going to wrap it all up by just giving you a massive life update as well. I am a national finalist for the Miss World Australia 2025 pageant from the state Victoria. However, the nationals have been postponed to November this year. There have been a lot of changes. The national directors changed. There's been a massive handover. We've had new contestants join the pageant as well. So there's been a lot of work in the background that you've not seen. But the nationals and the competition itself will be held in November. And little things are going to start from June. There is a lot of prep happening for that, for my Beauty with a Purpose project, which you all must know is called She Can Skills for Success. We're on Instagram as well. So a lot of these things are happening in the background. It's going to slowly come to the forefront in the second half of the year. That is the Miss World Australia update. Life update, like I said, I have moved back to Melbourne. I've moved in with my boyfriend. We're living together. This has been the dream. We've set up the house with all the furniture. So every day I feel grateful for what we've been able to build together. It has been our dream. And I'm spending my days coming up with new ideas, learning from the mistakes I've made, also just bringing a sense of gratitude but also calmness, just to feel grounded, to feel centered, to feel at peace, to feel one with myself and feeling like myself again. Now that I actually have all my things like my books and my screen and my clothes and I have a setup, I feel a lot more at peace. So I'm spending a lot of time doing that and just learning from the mistakes. Experimenting, you might see new content on the Instagram page, and networking with people is another thing that I hope to do more of now in Melbourne, meeting other creators, sharing experiences and learning from one another. So that's just a massive life update. I hope to keep you all engaged and entertained and to build this community to be what I have dreamt of this to be. We're there, but there's so much more to do. Like, I want this community to grow massively, and I want people to feel like they're coming along the journey and that we can both learn from one another. The baseline of this video is keep chasing your dreams. Something doesn't work, fine, okay. Pick up your bags, don't pick up your bags and move, because I'm not moving again, but pivot. Like, just pivot and just try something new. And if it doesn't work out, fine, you'll be where you are right now. You're not going to lose anything. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very glad to be back on YouTube. I hope to do more of this. It has been one long rant. I hope that it helps. Keep chasing your dreams. Like, share with all your friends who are in a similar boat. Subscribe to the page for a lot more of this reflective content, mindset building, confidence building, self-development, and we'll do this together. Okay, bye.